the channel viewers. Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison on the Pro Theologist channel, Ministry, Mentoring, Motivation. It's very difficult to carry out what the Lord said when he said, "Judge not, or you too will be judged." And there's different psychologies behind what he meant and what it was really intended to protect us from. One of the things I learned from a minister called Harold Dewberry, he's dead now, very gracious man. I had the privilege to meet him in person when he come to our church at Terrigal. Pastor Barry and Lynn got him to come and visit. He was a very powerful man. And his perception of judge or do not judge was, when you judge somebody else, you can become what you judge. When you psychologically compress something so hard down in judgment, you can become what you judge. And that's dangerous. I can remember, this is just a personal example, my real father was a jockey, a professional jockey. We lived on the racetracks with Mum and him, and I don't believe it was a very good experience for her or us as little children. Consequently, he was a womanizer, and she abandoned the marriage and returned to her parents with us. I was always taught that my father was evil, and the reason why he was evil was because he hurt my mother. And he did hurt my mother terribly. And that was through selfishness, his selfishness, through his lust and desire for women. At a young age too, they're only 17, 18, 19, as far as I understand. And when you live with that fear of this person because of what he has done to your mother, you go into a part of your life where you think and perceive women in a way in which you think they need to be rescued. But then in doing that, if you mix that with your fear of you shouldn't be cruel to women, or you shouldn't be sexual with women because it's going to hurt, and that's worth judging. If you're going to have sexual relations with a woman, it needs to be followed through with faithfulness and committedness, which isn't always what will happen on the woman's side. Not all women are that way inclined, but a lot are. And when you run into one of these ones that want you to stay around and are willing to do the work for you to stay around, and vice versa, you really do want to try and produce the best part of yourself that you can. I'm not finding that in this modern era. I'm finding companionship. I'm finding a certain level of commitment. I would call carrot dangling commitment, because there's really no real substance to it. And that possibly goes for myself as well. I mean, you get to the stage where you're working out of a, how could I describe it? You're working out of an arsenal of life experience tools that are trying to enable you to be the best version of yourself and give the best performance of yourself in every attribute to the partner that you're with. But at the same time, there's a covert arsenal of weaponry and radars and all this other stuff that's at work, making sure at the same token that you're not going to get harmed or maimed by the psychology and the makeup and the way in which women think today. And that's pretty fearful when you think about it. But it can also be glorious as well. It depends. You can tell pretty quick these days if somebody's going to be on course with where you're at. And people will bobble and goggle and stumble around. But what I've noticed is when somebody starts to step back, they're not on the same page as you. They're not got the same spirit as you. Now, they probably have with somebody else, right? But it's just not with you. And when you become attuned to somebody that's just turning up, you begin to see they're just turning up. They've really got no intention of fixing anything or developing anything with any substance, as it were. And it happens pretty quick. You sort of come to this point, and I remember saying to a few of the girls, we've come to a point where we've sort of, at the fork in the road, we've settled. And I say it vocally, I said, I think we're at a point here where we can cross over into a land of full commitment, or, and I'm thinking, this could go really skew-if, because it can't stay where it is. It's just not good for it to go latent now or into neutral. And most definitely, if it goes backwards, I'll be getting out. And this is the strangest things I've seen happen. I've seen women draw near but psychologically start to crumble. I have seen some really strange psychological disintegration, and they haven't realised it. See, women that don't really want to, women that are psychologically and emotionally split, they're not got left in them the capability to really pair bond. Something happens to them when they start to draw closer, and it's not good. It's really not good. And they're not meant to be there. You can just tell this person is not meant to be here. They're not coping. And I've seen this in their children. When you hang around the mother too long, the children start to disintegrate. They psychologically start to disintegrate. Well, if this woman tries to come in too close and she's not characteristically equipped or damaged, or she's damaged, or life just hasn't been kind to her, and she tries to draw in close, you will see the same psychological disintegration. I'm sure they're aware of it while it's happening, but you know, I've really seen these people try hard. And it's troubling because it all becomes alarming. You see, in one lot, going back a few years, I saw a bully come out, a horrible bully who would just ghost you. Oh, she was horrible. She'd just ghost you. Then I saw an infantile woman come out and very rude. So rude, she'd be rude to her friends. We'd go out and she'd just be rude to her friends. And I'd be thinking, where did that come from? Who is this? And I got to the stage where I thought, I'm not going out with her and her friends anymore. It's embarrassing. And there was another one where it was like being, how could you describe this other one? Let me say this to you. All these women needed time to themselves. That's what I've learned. And I grew to appreciate that. I grew to appreciate that all these women needed time to themselves. Now, during that journey, I caused a lot of kerfuffle about that for them as we went along. But the last one I wouldn't say I did. We had it's very difficult when you go into a relationship. It's supposed to be an exclusive relationship. Supposed to be. And the other person's just finding reasons and excuses to have time on their own. You're not That suits some people because it's convenient. They don't want to grow into somebody else. They don't want to go beyond themselves. Well, you got to realize that person needs to find somebody with the same mindset. They just do. They just do. And we let our faithfulness and loyalty blind us. But as you get older, you begin to hear the signals and the warning signs and all the stuff that comes with that. And you start to make decisions in a way in which time's not being wasted by incompatibilities. Because I don't think we've got the right to judge people just because they're different, but we have got the right to remove ourselves for the benefit of both. I mean, you can just be plain flat out selfish, forcing things to happen when they really shouldn't. And if you haven't built within yourself, see, this is the funny paradox. You go into a relationship to share your life with somebody in a really nice way, where everyone gets along and all this. What I've found with these women that want time on their own, you can't do it. It is not possible for you to build a close relationship with these people, because whether they've done that or not in the past, at the stage in life, later stages in life where I've met these women, they're just not able to do it. They're just suiting themselves, and you're really not going to build anything proficient from the relationship. They'll tell you they love you and stuff, but they really, and probably what they're saying is, I really want to, spend this time we're spending together, but they don't know how to build anything into a substantial situation. Never worked for me. And I mean that in the sense of, you can give them space, you can come close, you can go for walks. Some of these people just are not going to form a happy, healthy relationship. That's what I'm trying to say. They're just not going to. They don't want to. And this is where, as men and women that want to be close to these people, that capture your heart and your thoughts and your faithfulness and stuff, you have to be able to find a way to know, as soon as you see these warning signs, to detach. You have to take steps back. Instead of pushing forward, because these people know how to pull you in, step back. Just take steps back. You're not doing it with the intent of malice. You're doing it with the intent of self-preservation. And it's very, very sad, because people will play Russian roulette with their relationships. I've noticed this. You can bring up an issue and say, my tolerance is only going to go so far, and they don't care. They just wear you out. And then you've got to tell them that you can't do it anymore, or they've got to go. And there's really no fear of consequence to that, because they were never really in. I don't think these people were ever really, they couldn't have been. They just couldn't have been, because they've driven you around the bend with unresolved, and then they've just disappeared like they were never really there. No fight, no nothing. This is just a couple of most of the ladies will stand and fight if they believe in what's happening, but when they've just been caught out for negligence behaviour and stuff, there's nothing for them to fight for, because they've basically wrecked themselves. They've made a fool of themselves in front of the principles of exclusive relationships. See, what the trend today is to undermine the pure, healthy, powerful principles of an exclusive relationship. And they'll make excuses for this not to happen. And you need to be aware that when somebody's doing something that you're not comfortable with, or you have a uh-oh moment, as it were, If you can't discuss it or you can discuss it and it doesn't get resolved, you need to go, that oh moment was actually trying to tell me something. And be honest and walk away. You've got to have that power, that ability to be able to walk away. Because I can tell you eventually they'll walk away anyway. If the space they want is for a reason, it could be, for multiple millions of reasons, but I can guarantee it'll work against you in the end. Don't give these people that privilege. You walk away, let them go and waste somebody else's time, and keep searching until you find the person that's going to cleave to you and cling to you and empower you, and you empower them to build a happy, healthy, resolving, communicative relationship. Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison on the ProBrick exclusive YouTube channel, and Pro Theologist featuring this video. Bye for now.